Every now and then with video games, something will get hit with an unbelievable wave of interest or hype that takes some random video game and shoots its price through the moon. It could be a new YouTube video that comes out, it could be Reddit posts, or in this latest case, viral tweets have caused the price of Piglet's Big Game to absolutely explode. Now prior to this, Piglet's Big Game was largely seen as children's shovelware on both PS2 and GameCube. Not the most common game out there, but not a game that anyone actually really cared about either, unless you were actually buying it for a kid or you were a full set collector. Generally speaking, you'd be able to find a copy for 10, 15 bucks if you wanted one, and there would always be a copy available. Well now, thanks to the Twitter mania that was swirling around this game, eBay has been completely cleared out of cheap copies of this game, and the sales are ranging anywhere from $100 all the way up to $300. And yes, these are real sales. I have already personally spoke to multiple people who have been able to cash out on this insanity. So if you're sitting there thinking it's fake or not real or this is all weird manipulation, it's not. And it's not the first time we've seen something like this happen either. And later in the video here, we're going to look at some other examples to see just how well the price actually holds up after a game explodes like this. But what's really interesting is that even when we see a $10 game explode in price all the way up to say $150, people still won't or don't sell it. People get FOMO about what if the price is going to go higher, or suddenly they get hit by the endowment effect and suddenly there's no price that would be good enough to separate from Piglet's Big Game. Once other people want it, it becomes so special like I can't possibly get rid of it. It's Piglet's Big Game. And I've seen a lot of other people say that this game is just never going to be cheap again, so why sell it now? It's always going to cost $100 from here on out. Which, let me just put this into quick perspective here. If you were to sell Piglet's Big Game for $150, you would be able to buy any GameCube game except for 23 of them, and that's basically the same for PS2. And if Piglet were to maintain its price of around $100, it would be in the top 32 most expensive GameCube games. I don't think people realize that like GameCube games, PS2 games, they don't cost $100. That is elite company. That's like the top of the top when we're talking about a $100 PS2 or GameCube game. But whatever, maybe you don't want to sell it for whatever reason you might have. We already see eBay filling up with copies now. It's a race to zero when this happens, right? People just keep undercutting each other, but by the time you see this video, maybe the window to sell for $100 might already be closed. But let's look at some examples of other games that got hit with viral trends or they got hit by a whole wave of hype, and let's see how the prices held up on them. Let's start off with Concord on PS5 because it's the most recent example I can think of. If you didn't know, when the game first launched and was quickly canceled and recalled, speculators, collectors began buying this thing up as a rare collectible. When the recall notice for the game went out, the stores that still had stock literally wouldn't let you buy it. That's a good reason for this game to become rare and expensive. Well, back in September when this whole fiasco took place, sealed copies were selling regularly for over $100, and some were even peaking out around $150. Well, now you can see on price charts that all of the recent sales for a sealed copy are right around 50 bucks. That is crazy, right? Who could have seen that one coming? But that's stupid. Concord sucks. Let's look at Phantom Dust on original Xbox. Back in July 2022, YouTuber Nick Robinson released a great video talking about this game and encouraging people to check it out. The video garnered millions of views, and as you might guess, the price on the game exploded overnight. So prior to the video being made, the game was hovering somewhere in the $20 price range, actually kind of close to Piglet pricing. And right after the video was made, price charts had it spiking all the way up to $100 for a CIB. But if we actually look at sales from back in July 2022, we can see some sales much higher than 100 actually peaking out close to 150. I was even able to sell my copy because I just randomly happened to own one. I sold mine for a total price of about $144 US. The old listing is super small now because I can't actually click on it. It's over 2 years ago, but there's a picture of it. And all the way from the peaks of $150 to today, where you can buy yourself a CIB copy for about 50 bucks, just below $50. So definitely higher than it originally was, but nowhere near the peak anymore, and honestly, I doubt the game will ever be that expensive again. But what about Alien Resurrection on PlayStation 1? I'm sure a lot of you guys heard about this one pretty recently. Modern Vintage Gamer put out a video in December 2023 explaining that Alien Resurrection has a secret cheat code in it that enables you to play backup discs without any additional modding necessary. Very cool, and even some practical usage for people beyond just the gameplay. This video got got over 600,000 views, and as you can probably guess by now, the price of the game exploded. Prior to the video being made, the price of the game was hovering right around $40, which is actually pretty expensive. I think it's the most expensive example yet here. It was an uncommon game to begin with. It then spiked on price charts all the way to $285, with multiple sales days after the video was posted for over 300. This is the largest spike we've seen on any of these examples yet, and likely due to the actual practical usage, right? It's not being purchased just because it's a cool game, it actually has a kind of cool usage. Well, it's now been about a year since this big price spike, and if we look on price charts, it's down to $92 for a CIB. And if you look at the recent sales, you can see that a lot of them are even below that 90 mark. I think we can all agree that this Alien game is far more interesting and far more collectible than that of Piglet, and even this Alien game couldn't sustain a $100 price tag. And it spiked way higher than Piglet did at the peak. The last example I want to talk about here is Amazing Island on Nintendo GameCube, and this one's a little bit older here, so some of you might not be aware of it. So Amazing Island is a pretty overlooked game where you create your own monster and then compete in various mini games to unlock new cosmetics and designs, to create more unique monsters, to unlock more stuff, to create new monsters, to compete in harder mini games, and I think you get the point. And I should say the game was pretty niche prior to Jaden Animations making a YouTube video about it August 2021. Now this is crazy. Jaden Animations is a huge YouTuber. The video about Amazing Island is currently sitting with 22.1 million views. For quick reference, the video that made Alien Resurrection shoot through the roof, that video had 600,000 views. The Amazing Island video is 40 times bigger than that, which doesn't even make sense. And if you're enjoying this content so far, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see more like it. But anyways, prior to this video being made, Amazing Island was about a $20 game. After the video, price charts has it spiking up to $63, but the actual peaks were much higher than that. Unfortunately, Terra Peak only goes back 3 years, so we can't actually see comps from when the video was released. But if you go over to this old video game Sage forum, you can see the OP here talking about Amazing Island, and he's saying the price peaked up to about 100. And I am positive that I saw sales for over $100 as well, because I debated selling the copy that I own. But today, about 3 years after the fact, you can pick up a copy of Amazing Island for around $30. So it's slightly more expensive than it used to be, but as we've seen with all of these examples, the price spikes and hype, it cannot be sustained. So coming back around to Piglet's big game and its current $100, $150 price tag, do we really think this price is going to hold? Is there any chance of this game remaining a sought-after grail 3 months later from now, not to mention 1 or 3 years later? If we go by Amazing Island or Phantom Dust, which are probably decent examples, they're both $20 games to start with, we could maybe see Piglet maintain a $30, maybe a $40 price tag at absolute most. At the end of the day, it's a children's game. It's children's shovelware. It's hard enough for really, really good video games to maintain any kind of $50 to $100 price tag, let alone a Piglet's game that is being hyped up because it's kind of similar to survival horror games. But let me know what you think. What's going to happen to the price of Piglet's big game? And let me know of any other games that have been hyped up by YouTubers or Reddit or whatever. Let me know other examples of that as well. Say thank you to every single patron, help support the video, as well as the YouTube members. I can't do this without you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.